Hey guys, so basically in this episode I'm going to show you guys how to take off the spindle of my CB7. It's a 1990 to 1993 Honda Accord, but it is custom. So most of these parts that you will see are not going to be the parts that you are used to or they are originally from the car. So if you see a rotor or caliper or something that's different, don't be weirded out. Be like, oh, that's not the same part. The process of taking the spindle out is the same for most cars. You just have to look at what nuts and studs and screws and whatnot is there, what's holding it together, so you can take it off. So if you guys have any questions or you want to leave any comments, make sure you do. Make sure you subscribe and you like, and we'll take it from there. Alright, so basically I showed you where the nuts were. So what I'm going to do is I'll proceed to remove them using the 17. I'm using this one because it has a better grip. So like I said, make sure you go clockwise with it. There's two nuts in the bottom and two on top. Over here telling you guys to do clockwise, I'm going counterclockwise. Now, that's basically what it is, a plate. This one goes towards the back like this, and then the other one goes towards the front like that. And the bottom, and it's the same thing on the top. The difference is that the one on top does not come out because it's attached to the brake line. So don't try to take that plate away. Now for the top, I'll go like this on an angle like that so that I can loosen it up. Now you gotta be careful in here because the brake line is going through here, so you don't want to mess this up. So the one closest towards the back of the car, that's the one that you want to loosen up with this. The other one you could take out with the ratchet set, but this one, I'm not sure if the ratchet set will fit back here. So, like I said, just be careful with the brake lines. You don't want to end up having more work than you should. Now, what am I doing? Just one clock. Instead of going counterclockwise. So, it's nice and loose. Alright. Keep in mind clockwise and counterclockwise, alright? As you guys can see, forget about that all the time. So these control arms, I think they came from Prelude. The hubs are from the 94 through 98 Odyssey. The upper control arms and bushings I'm using all from the CB7 from 90 to 93 Honda Accord EX, which is the same EX, LX when it comes to bushings. When it comes to other stuff in the car, there's a difference, you know, like the EX has sunroof, LX has power everything, DX has power nothing. So, boom, that's one. And the second one, like I said, you're able to take it out with the ratchet set. So, it's a tight fit in here, so let's see how it goes down. Alright, so once this nut is out, you will only have to remove these two screws and that will come off. So loosen up this crown nut before removing these, just so it doesn't end up being super tight when you ready to take it off. So I'm gonna loosen this up. I'm not gonna take it all the way off though. Now what you do is, we're on the side. What I'm gonna do is I'm gonna put a screwdriver there, just to push this out a little bit. Let me see. You guys see it? Alright, so this in here is where the brake line is that I was telling you guys about. Alright, that comes right off. See? That comes right off. So, what I'm gonna do is, I'm gonna remove this, and then I'm gonna take this out. So, once this nut is out, you will only have to remove these two screws, and that will come off. take off this one screw. Alright, that was the screw for the shock for the suspension. And this one is right here. This one, what I'll do is grab a pair of pliers, hold on to the inside of it, just grab a little hammer. That's it, that's how this one comes out, alright? Just make sure the suspension is off. And now I just proceed to push this off as well. See, that's it. So now as you can see, the only thing holding it up is the crown nut, which I'm going to take off my hand. Because I loosened it up earlier. I'm going to take this off. So now the only thing left to do is hit it. Now I'm hitting the knuckle itself. I'm not hitting the control arm. I wasn't hitting the control arm. I was hitting the knuckle itself. All right. That's if you guys don't want to damage the upper control arm. If you're gonna reuse it, I'm not reusing it. I'm setting a new one. But either way, it's just habit of nature. Always hit the knuckle, not the arm itself. You're gonna damage it. Now, remember, this is behind this. It's back here. So when you take this off, be careful not to mess up the brake line. All right. So that's how you take off the control arm. Alright, so now go ahead and remove this upper screw. Oh, you guys can see it right here. It's a screw. You guys can see it. There's a 10mm that has to come out. And I'm going to remove these. Like I said, I'm removing the control arm. So, proceed to remove all this out of the way. So, let's go back a little bit. Now, I will remove this upper screw, but I will not take out the crown screw or the crown nut until I'm done removing everything else. Reason being, if this thing falls, I don't want it hanging, and I don't want it adding extra pressure to other things. I'm gonna just remove it so I know it's not there no more. I don't have to do it later. And everything has been greased, and I've hit everything with W40 about an hour ago. So you want to do that in order for everything to be nice and loose when you take it out. Now that was a 10mm, like I said, and these right here I believe to be 12mm. So I said 12mm. I like to loosen them up. I like to loosen both up first before I take out one, because if you just take one out, the chances of the other one spinning or not wanting to come out are greater. So I like to lessen those chances. Now I'll be changing this control arm as well. I'll show you guys each step by step as I do it. I'm gonna remove the screw right here just because I want to get it out the way. Now usually these screws, they're pretty rusted in there. So make sure you hit it with a hammer a few times. You hit it with W40 a few times. Usually when I put screws in, I put W40 on the screw, just for the future, so it can come out easier. All right, now the screws back here that I was telling you about. 14s. Now you gotta go counterclockwise with it. Well, clockwise with it. Pretty sure. Let me see. Boom. Yeah, I'm pretty sure you gotta go clockwise with it. So to loosen all nuts, you have to go clockwise with it. To tighten them up, you have to go counterclockwise with it. Oh man, another stick's in the way. Way. This I believe is a 19, 17. These are already loose when I installed the 5-lug conversion, because I knew I was gonna remove everything again to clean it up, to spray paint it nice so it could look nice. Now what I'm doing is I'm securing it on one side so it's not spinning. But right now what I was doing, it was the whole thing was spinning. Make sure you put everything away so you don't lose it. And then this just gets tapped out of the way a little bit. I just want to hit this out a little bit so I can take this off like that. And this screw will come out itself, but I will take that off after I'm done taking everything else off, because otherwise it will drop as well. So like I said, got the clockwise button. I'm gonna use a socket for this to make it easier on myself. A little bit more of leverage as well. Couldn't do that to the bottom one because of that. Because of this piece, so I can't use the socket down there. So I had to use the key basically. So like I said, in order to change the rotor, if you want to change the rotor, you will have to take these out. I don't think you can get away with just taking one out. So I suggest just taking both out. It takes a little bit more time, but you always want to do the job right. As you can see, the rotor is basically out already. See, the rotor is basically out. So there's the bracket. Bracket is out. I'm gonna sand this. I'm gonna paint it nice. I'll take you guys to that step as well. Let's see. The rotor comes right out. The rotor just rusty from years, so but it's still pretty beefy. It's still pretty brand new. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna sand it down as well. You can see the paint, the old paint is chipping out. I had painted them black before. This was, like I said, 8 years ago, 9 years ago. I think it was 2007 I did it, and now we in what, 2020. So about 7 years ago. Nah, that's like 13 years ago. Anyways, yeah. So that's basically how you would take that out if you want to replace the rotor. Now I gotta take these nuts out. That's every time I'm taking the whole thing out, because I'm gonna put extended ones up, because I'm gonna put basically a spacer for the new rims I'm gonna put on. And like I said, I will take you guys through the whole process. So right now I'm gonna just put some W40 on the nuts right here, because they gotta come off in order for the hub itself to come off. I don't know if I have to take them off, but I want to take it off just so I could sand all this in the back, all of this, so I could paint it, have it looking nice. Alright, so the next step would be, I got something to take this out. There's another screw down here. That one is a 14, I believe. That one's for the, that one's basically for the shock, for the coil and springs basically. So I'm gonna take that off as well. This too is a cheap setup that whoever had this car had bought for it. I'm gonna go with airbags eventually. I don't have the $2,000 for it right now, but eventually my plan is to go with the airbag system. You see me hammering it. Please be careful when you do that. You don't want to, if it's really stuck, you don't want to hammer it, because you don't want it to get flat at that end, and then you won't be able to put the nut in. So be real careful when you hammer the end of screws. Please try not to do it. It's a bad habit that I have. I just like hammering everything. So alright, so I'll take this nut off over here. And this, I believe, is a 17. Like I said, remember, everything is clockwise to loosen up. So instead of using brute strength, I just tap it with the hammer. And I don't use the hammer itself, I use this part right here of the hammer. And if you guys want to see exactly what I'm doing, sure. So basically, this is the screw I was holding on to take the nut from the other side. I have to take off this, now you guys can see it. I'll take out this nut right here. I'll take out the nut up there, this nut, which is the second one from the one down there. Use those two, and then pick up this nut right here at the end. That one and that one. That should be it. So, oh, one thing I almost forgot. This nut right here, there's two ones, one here and one there. One here and one there. Right? Same thing in the bottom. In the bottom, you have, let's see if you can see it. It's so hard to see. You have the one here, right, and the one in there. So it's this one and this one. I have to take off. Alright, so those two nuts, this one over here and this one right here. So that's what I'm taking off right now. Alright, so basically I showed you where the nuts were. So what I'm going to do is I'll proceed to remove them using the 17. I use this one because it has a better grip. Now what you do is, bring up the sun. What I'm gonna do is I'm gonna put a screwdriver there, just to push this out a little bit. Let me see. You guys see it? All right. So this in here. This is where the brake line is that I was telling you guys about. Right? That comes right off. That comes right off. So I'm gonna take off this one screw. Alright, that was the screw for the shock, for the suspension. And this one is right here. This one, what I'll do is grab a pair of pliers, hold on to the inside of it, just grab a little hammer. That's it, that's how this one comes out, alright? Just make sure the suspension is off. And now I just proceed to push this off as well. So that's it. So now as you can see, the only thing holding it up is the crown nut, which I'm going to take off my hand. Because I loosened it up earlier. I'm going to take this off. So now the only thing left to do is hit it. Now I'm hitting the knuckle itself. I'm not hitting the control arm. I wasn't hitting the control arm. I was hitting the knuckle itself. All right. That's if you guys don't want to damage the upper control arm. If you're gonna reuse it, I'm not reusing. I'm setting a new one. But either way, it's just habit of nature. Always hit the knuckle, not the arm itself. You're gonna damage it. Now, remember, this is behind this. It's back here. So when you take this off, be careful not to mess up the brake line. All right. So that's how you take off the control arm.